What's up, guys? Welcome to the Slightly Nocturnal Show. Today's date is December 14th, 2017. I'm Doc Holiday, and I'm all here with Bo Machado. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's happening?
Not much. So, today was an interesting day. A lot of things happened. So, net neutrality got just slammed to hell and back. So,
Yeah, tell us how that's gonna impact the average Joe.
So, it could do things like make Netflix and any kind of thing, Hulu, things like that, cost more money. And the reason behind that is stuff like, so your ISP, your internet service provider, whoever it might be Comcast or CenturyLink or whoever the fuck you have, they could tell you, okay, you can have, say you're paying for 30 megabytes a month, like 30 megabytes a second per month, like that's what you're paying for. And they could tell you, okay, so on Netflix you get 1 megabyte a second, like that's what you get. So because we're basically gonna throttle different websites, and if you want 30 megabytes a second for Netflix, it's gonna cost you $200 every 10 days. So shit like that is what effectively could happen.
Okay.
And probably it will happen unless the only upside to this is they've voted this kind of shit in before and they've lost in court. So, and I'm sure that's what will happen.
Yeah, that's the next step, right? They're gonna take it to court.
Oh yeah,
I guess the Democrats.
Yeah, all sides will take. Like Google wants nothing to do with this. Netflix wants nothing to do with this. They don't want it. Because effectively it could kill off business for these. If it's going to cost me $400 a month to watch Netflix, I'm fucking. And not the Netflix is going to charge me that. It's going to be that what my ISP is going to charge me. Fuck
right.
that. I'm going to be the first thing I'm dropping. The same thing for Hulu. So,
Right.
What might happen in those kind of instances is you might have, Netflix or somebody might get in bed and create an ISP. But, then again, they might do the same thing. They could be where it'd be advantageous to them. So if you have Netflix's internet as your provider, they're not going to let you go to Hulu's website. They're not going to let you go to Google's websites and watch YouTube.
Right.
So it could just be a master of fuckery is what it could be. And it's the fucking sad day to watch that kind of shit go away. And this fucking, whatever his name is, Ajay Patel, this former lawyer from Verizon that's now the chairman of FCC. Did you see this video this fucker released today? He made this
No.
He made a video where he talked about how the things that you're still going to be able to do. He said that you're still
Okay.
And everybody should go watch it. It's fucking horrendous. The guy dresses up in a fucking one of the what was that suit that was popular this year for men, the onesie thing. What do they call that shit?
Oh yeah, onesies
for guys, for grown fucking men. They had a fucking thing for it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I remember there was a big deal.
He gets on there and says you're going to be able to still use Instagram and fucking watch net. Yeah, sure you'll be able to, but it may be behind a paywall, So. So there's lots of bad things that might happen. So it will highly impact, YouTube and streamers that use Twitch to stream video. So, and the reason behind that is because the federal government now can come down and say, okay, we don't like that person, you need to cut them off. And it's not like they have any say over it. So now that if they want the FCC to allow them to broadcast, then they'll have to do that. Basically they'll have to be all censored by what the government wants.
Right. A romper? Is that what you're talking about?
Romper, yeah, that's it. Yeah, he's in a fucking romper and a squirt gun and a fucking.
Oh my gosh.
He's a fucking dumbass. I fucking hate him. And anybody that loves the internet the way it is now, if you think nothing's bad is gonna go wrong, you're highly mistaken. Do your fucking research. So. It's just fucking bad all the way around. You want to watch your Game of Thrones online? Be prepared to pay the fucking price to do that. So, just be prepared. You know, basically,
Yeah, it's tough for the little guy.
It is. Well, it's tough. It'll be tough for HBO and shit. Like, it just will. You know, everybody's not going to be able to pay what they want. And really, what can happen is they've made it a utility. So the only benefit to having this is that they've made it like the power company. Like, they basically now they can't if you don't pay your bill, they're not going to shut you off. You know,
right.
But that's not. I'd rather have them have the power to shut my internet off if I don't pay my bill and not have shitty internet.
Right.
So that's my opinion about it.
Okay.
It's just not a good thing. You need to call, and it was crazy too, because you know, we had all these signatures, we had all these congressmen, all these House of Representative people. They don't want this shit. You know, they're tired of answering phone calls from their districts of people, you know, telling them that they don't want this shit. So
yeah, and a lot of the public too. I was part of a big campaign on change.org, where you sign off and call the congressman and all that good stuff. So yeah, somehow passed anyway.
Well, it was up to him. That's why it passed, and that's why they're going to go to court. Well, motherfucker. Just motherfucker. Yeah. It's a bad deal all the way around.
Yeah, so who does it actually benefit? So, what, like, the purpose for passing it was to, you know, bottom line benefit. Because it doesn't sound like it benefits the average Joe. So, who's really getting a win from it?
The ISPs will benefit from it in the sense that they can charge more money now, and they can, like, legally throttle websites. Like, so if you go to YouTube every day and watch 2 hours worth of YouTube, they may only let you, like, watch literally like 10 minutes of it before they throttle you down to like nothing. So
okay.
So, and if it'll come up, it'll like be a big thing. It'll come up and say, you want to continue watching YouTube at higher speeds? Pay $29.95 for the rest of the day. You know, imagine.
So it'd be similar to like the gaming platform we were talking about, where you have to like basically purchase the different opportunities to have those things. You would have to purchase the opportunity to have higher speeds, basically.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So imagine that. Like, imagine if you had to pay $30 a day to watch YouTube. Like, imagine that shit.
Well, YouTube would probably go away.
Right. Exactly. Anyways, so that's that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So.
Yeah, I guess the argument for it is what, that even though they could charge whatever they wanted, the competition would drive the cost down. Is that the rationale behind it?
Yeah, but it's not going to work that way, you know.
Well, like most things haven't really worked that way.
Yeah.
I know people like to say they do, but cars and houses and everything else, even though there are things on the market, they go up. Yeah.
And it's an exchange of money is what it is, you know. Like, that dude is, I don't give a fuck. He's getting paid by somebody to be on that side of things, you know.
Lobbyists
he's a politician.
do a good job.
You know, he's a politician. So he's getting paid. Somebody's filling his pockets up or something that he enjoys, you know.
That's why I wondered what the bottom line benefit, you know what I mean, like who benefits, because
the government will benefit from it because they have like a really tight grasp now on the internet. Like they can come down and say stuff like, "Oh, we don't like the Slightly Nocturnal show being on YouTube," you know. So you need to turn that shit off. So it almost is a move towards more like a communist type of thing, like how China, you can't Google Tiananmen Square in China. Right. So.
Okay.
I would suspect that it is going to get challenged in court, and that I bet we see it overthrown. So.
Well, let's all hope for it. And I would say anybody who campaigned to stop it, I'd continue to campaign against it.
Yeah, it's like I said, if you like things the way they are, you like your Netflix, you like your YouTube, you like watching your people on Twitch, those days may be numbered for a little while. So.
Yeah. Oh, and let's be honest, you know, people might complain about a lot of things in today's society. Normally, one of the things they don't complain about is our instant access to information, you know, and essentially we're talking about losing some of that instant access.
Right. And it gives the opportunity for ISPs to like say, okay, you want to go to Reddit, or you want to go to the Washington Journal's like webpage, and that'll cost you an extra $1 a month. So essentially it's like somebody cutting your freedom of speech. Like you're like, oh, you want to comment on this website? Please deposit $2. Where's your PayPal account?
Right. It basically like subscription fees can be attached to multiple things.
Oh, everything. I would look for subscription fees. I would look for shit to cost you, and then what we don't need to settle for is oh, this company's starting this $10 thing a month where you pay $10 and you can get access to everything. Like, why the fuck would we pay more money than we're already paying now? Like that's not a solution to the problem. So
right.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Solution is keep it free.
Correct. It is. So, and I don't, and it's not a Democrat Republican thing. It's a fucking like you want your freedom of speech on the internet. Like this is kind of like our last format for freedom of speech, and they're like they're trying to take it from us. So, you can't.
So don't let them have it.
Yeah, you can't go to the fucking what is it? That place where Forrest Gump had. You can't assemble there no more. Like it's over. They won't let you do it. So. Oh,
the parade down in
D.C.?
at
the Lincoln Memorial. Like you can't you can't assemble there. I went to the last time it was an Alex Jones rally. That was the last time they were letting people do it. So.
Oh really? So the government said you can't assemble down there anymore.
Oh fuck no, can't fucking do it no more. So.
Oh wow.
And that's
like grounds.
Yeah, and that is like that's like a trademark place for like any kind of big rallies. Like during the '70s, the Martin Luther King thing was there.
Right.
So it's fucking over. Like it's just fucking crazy. So.
Wow.
Let's see. Oh, you know what? Something I didn't mention about last week that I want to talk about. So I talked to a senator and a House, a rep person from Wyoming, and they were just I got to talk to them because of what I do and who I work for, and I point blank asked them about the VA, and they told me point blank, so this is fucking crazy. As somebody who's been in the military and had free health care while I was in the military, and now I look at it like, and I know people that are in it. I have my brother's in the military. He pays for his health care now in the military. It's not a lot of money.
Just like all the rest of us.
Yeah. It's not a lot of money. But, it's like a benefit of being in the military was, you have free health care. It wasn't great health care. But now it's not great health care, and the motherfuckers got to pay for
it. Right, and there's a copay.
Yes. So, and if you have a family, you're fucked. It's expensive as hell. I looked at it the other day. If you have a wife and a kid, you could end up paying almost $500 a month for like the minimum. So, if you're an E1 or an E2 or E3, even an E4, and you're paying $500 a month, that's over a half of your paycheck gone.
So it's just like being a civilian, basically.
It's fucking
you're paying the same rates that a civilian would pay.
Well, you can get on, what is it? You could probably get a cheaper rate if you were a civilian. So it's almost costing you more money, depending on where you live, which is not up to you, when you're in the military. You can't just decide, okay, we're going to move to Oklahoma where the insurance rate is cheaper. No, like, you're going to be wherever the fuck we tell you to be. So. Yeah,
they duty station you. there is no choice in that matter, typically.
So they talked about that, and I was like, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, why the fuck are they talking about this? And they said, expect the VA funding to be cut, and expect the VA, like, for veterans, for yourself, for it to cost you money. And they told me this, like, so that it almost seemed like they were telling me that it's going to cost money to help cut that. Like, this was their way of cutting down on, like, how many people come to the VA. And I told them, I'm like, so you fuckers, like, you're the people that's going to cut my benefits. And after I was told forever while I was in the military that I'll be taken care of forever. And they were like...
Do you think that's a... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, do you think that's a push towards privatization, which has been like everybody's big fear with the VA for
I think
at least a decade?
I think this is the road to it. If it might not be like might not be what in the end result happens, but this is like they're paving the way for it to be able to go that way, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, and the start of that was the choice program.
Right. And I'm on that program. Like, I have that shit. I don't ever fucking use it.
Well, and ideally, it would be a good program. But ideally, people would want to use it at the VA if the VA was within close enough proximity.
Right. So the nearest VA to me is where I used to work at the VA, which is 7 hours away from me. So.
Yeah, that's not really close.
And I can't go to the VA that's in a different state. They won't let me. There's a VA that's much closer to me that's only 4 hours away, but I can't go there because it's in a different state.
Could you go down there and get vested down there and then use that VA?
Yeah, but it's like a process. Like, I have to, they told me I have to establish a post office box and wait 6 months. And it was all this shit that I'm just not willing to do because I don't go to the VA. So.
That's interesting, because if you were a homeless veteran and you showed up on their doorstep, they would vest you.
Right, exactly. They asked, one of the questions they asked me, they're like, are you working or do you have a home? And it was like I was disqualified because I had a job and a home, Because I was because I'm a contributing member of society, I get points deducted against me.
With the VA, there's been this means test in place for a long time, and I remember my father, who's 100% service connected at this point, but he didn't used to be. He used to be like a GS-14 with the government, and he was a successful veteran who didn't have any access to VA healthcare because he was means tested out of the healthcare.
Right, and I don't have access to hardly anything.
He had to carry private.
I don't have hardly access to anything because I won't get 100% whatever the disability, and I make too much goddamn money. Like, that's what they told me.
Right? Yeah, they means test you out of it. They say, just like if you take the means test and you don't make money, then you get free VA care. But if you make a certain amount of money, then you get no VA care.
Right. So, and it's ridiculous, Like, I'm promised all this shit when I'm in the military, and then I get out, and because I've done well in because I'm doing well in life, I'm getting boned. Like, to me that's
right.
So.
Well, as a person that works at the VA, it's sad to hear that because I'm all about open access. I think we should have open access to any veteran. You know what I mean? Like, we should have an open door, and veterans should be able to come in and get the help they need, regardless of their status in life. And, we like to say that we do things better because we're a veteran-centric organization. So I would like to think that means successful people can use our mental health care, can use suicide prevention, can use those things. And it's really like they can't use those things at this point.
I was told too, so if I wanted to just get a physical, because I'm means tested out of it, I'm I'm way down the list. They told me it'd be 4 weeks before I could see somebody. And I'm like, what? I just very disappointed in that. And I expressed that to these politicians. And they just kind of looked at me like, yeah, well, you're doing well. You can afford not to go to the VA. I'm like,
so one of the things I would ask them in that forum, provided you get presented the opportunity again in the future, is how come a veteran with a bad conduct could show up at the VA and say they're suicidal and get emergency care, but a successful veteran doesn't have the same opportunity?
Right. No, it's a good question.
You know what I mean? Because at this point, they've opened the VA for suicide prevention and that kind of emergency care to veterans who have a bad conduct, even.
Yeah.
In order to try to help, cut down suicide, for good reason, to help cut down suicide rate and things like that. You want to open the door and increase access. But you don't want that to only apply to the impoverished person. It's not like people who are successful don't go through mental health and personal crises.
Yeah, what happens if tomorrow I went fucking, I just lost my goddamn mind? Nobody at the VA is going to talk to me because they're like, oh, you make too much money.
Right, and that's tragic.
It is. It's fucking terrible. So.
Yeah, that's tragic.
Anyways, I just wanted to touch on that, talk about that for a few minutes. And it's, I know you work there at the VA, and so this is, and I'm a vet, and it's tough to hear that shit. So. Sure. And this choice program too. So I have fellow coworkers that are vets, and everybody where I work is on it because of where we live, and it still costs them money. In fact, it's cheaper if they go with their with the government health care that is provided to us than it is sometimes for these choice things. Like one of the guys, like he needs his knee replaced, and the choice program is going to cost him more than his deductible would be if he used just regular Blue Cross that we're provided.
Right.
That's insane. Like, that's fucking insane to me.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
the VA
it's just sad.
They won't do it. They won't send him somewhere at a VA and let him do it. They're like, no, you need you're in the choice program, and this is what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, to me, that's the tragic part of it all. If you're a veteran who served, you know, we should provide you the care. That's what the VA is supposed to be there for.
Right. I agree.
You know, and we shouldn't make it hard to access. You know, it should be ease of access, and we should get people the care they need.
Yeah. So I want to reserve like the last 10 minutes of the show to talk about something that happened to our channel today for YouTube.
Okay.
So I want to talk about I do want to get to it, but let's talk about this other stuff first. So I spent like the last probably 30 minutes of my day at work today reading about Lonzo Ball. Like, I fucking hate them motherfucker. Like, he is a fucking dipshit, and I don't understand why anybody
Do you hate Lonzo or do you hate LeVar?
I hate LeVar. Like,
the dad, right?
And Lonzo's an overrated player anyways, and I don't understand why he gets any playing time for the Lakers.
I don't know. I mean, if you look, he's actually having a decent rookie season. I mean, the guy's still just a rookie. The issue is his dad has been so loud and boisterous that he put a target on his son.
Right. When he had a big meeting the other day, supposedly with the big brass at L.A.
Yeah, the Lakers told him to chill it out.
Yeah, he said something different happened, but I'm sure that's what it was. I'm sure. What's his face? Not Charles Barkley. What's the guy who's...
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson. Yep. He's probably telling him, look, motherfucker, if you don't shut your mouth, I'm not going to let you come to no more games, you know?
Yeah, they could ban him, you know what I mean? And his other two sons at this point, I think, are going to play together in Lithuania.
Yeah,
so
I saw that.
He can go sit on the bench in Lithuania, I guess.
Oh, they're going to do this. And they've banned the media from talking to anybody in the family and friends section of the LA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they did that shit. They banned them. The media's not allowed to talk to anybody there, and that's because of that motherfucker. Like,
wow.
So, and then what's
that's
his
crazy.
face? Their youngest one. He's 16 years old and gonna go. He dropped out of high school and gonna go play in Lithuania.
Well, his dad had him drop out. His dad actually was coaching the team, I think, and he pulled him off the floor.
So, I don't. And then
that was a while ago.
I read this comment. I didn't know he had said this, but I guess he got on TV and said that he would beat the shit out of Michael Jordan in
at basketball.
What the fuck, motherfucker?
That's why I stopped taking him serious about anything he said. He made that comment like last year when Lonzo was at UCLA, and I was like, "This is how you know a motherfucker lost his mind." and you know what Michael's rebuttal was, right? That he averaged what I don't know Michael's career average. I think it's over 31 points or something. That he averaged that in the NBA, and LeVar Ball averaged, I think it was 2.3 points a game.
2.2 in his year at college ball.
In his 1 year at D1 ball, right? So I think that speaks. You know, like you don't even need to say anything else.
Oh my god! Like this fucking dude. I'm tired. Like. And I read an article that Charles Barkley talked about, like, he said that he's like, don't even need to, he won't even talk about him. He's like, I'm not giving him the time of day.
Well, I think that's the smartest thing to do.
I think so, too. Like, just refuse to give this guy a platform. Like, I'm just not doing it. So.
Yeah, yep. I think that's sort of what you have to do, because if you talk about him in a good or bad light, then that gives press to him, and that gives press to his big baller brand, which is what he's all about doing anyway. You know, it's all about promoting his business.
Have you seen the trends? All these people like decided to order shoes from him, and like there was a big thing on, I think it was Fox Sports or ESPN something, one of the channels. Like 10 of these panelists ordered shoes, and only one of them got the right size that they ordered. So there's this.
Oh wow!
They're a fucking brand, yeah, but send us, can't send us the right fucking size that we ordered. One of them got a different color than they ordered. It was fucking hilarious.
And the price point's pretty outrageous in general for them, if I remember right.
Yeah, they're like on par with Jordans.
They're a couple $100 a pair.
So, I see you got on here, you know, the pros and cons of skipping college and going overseas to play. You know, I think not everybody is LeBron James, and not everybody's, you know, Kobe Bryant. I just don't think that there's a lot of good in skipping college. I think you're mature as a player.
I think it should be the opportunity should be there, man. And I don't think you should even have to go overseas. I think that the G League, which used to be the NBA's D League, now it's the G League for Gatorade, who's the sponsor. But I think that a kid should be able to go there instead of college if he wants to.
Oh, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be able to play in the pros, but I think you should not be able to play the pros as a 16-year-old kid. So
I don't know, man. You look at Europe, and they've been letting those kids do that forever, and it's proven at this point now that basketball is an international sport, it's proven to be a huge advantage for European players.
I have to argue the maturity thing. I just don't think that 16-year-old kid is mature enough to play basketball in an adult sport like that. So,
I mean, I'm not arguing that physically maybe they would struggle, but don't you think that they would be able to develop that at that age? They could start using the weight room. They could get adult training.
I would say probably physically. That's not the argument. I would say mentally is my argument about the maturity thing. You know, there's going to be things that.
I mean, then you go to, is a 19-year-old that mature?
I think there's a big difference between a 16-year-old and a 19-year-old. So
maybe, but typically that's based on their life experience, right? So if you're 16 and able to go gain a different kind of life experience versus being in school, that, you know, and you could do, you know, actors can be an actor at whatever age, and they can do homeschooling kind of things. Why shouldn't athletes be able to be professional athletes in the same way?
I just think it's mature. And so my example about young actors would be Miley Cyrus. You know, she was isolated from the world when she played in her Disney or Nickelodeon.
Hannah Montana.
And then she went fucking nuts when she got all her freedom. Basically, somebody like handed her a boatload of cash and she was an adult now, and she went crazy. You know. So that would be and that's one example. There's several of those examples out there.
Sure. Oh yeah, I think there's lots of those examples as far as young people who get too much too quick. But I still think that opportunity should be there, and not everybody would take it, and not everybody would be able to be successful at it. You know.
I think if you, like I said, I think LeBron did the right thing by not going to college. He's a fantastic basketball player. I think Kobe Bryant did the same thing. I don't think he played. I think he waited a year and then.
No, Kobe went straight. No, he went straight in.
Did he? I know there's other big time and other athletes that have gone this route. They've waited the year and then they've gone in.
Kevin Garnett. Well, you didn't even used to have to wait a year. Like when Kobe and Kevin Garnett and Moses Malone, like that rule didn't used to exist. You used to be able to go straight. Jermaine O'Neal is another name. You used to be able to go straight to the NBA from high school. And they passed that one and done rule that your class had to be 1 year out, which to me is a cruddy rule. It messes with college basketball. I think the people that don't benefit
from it is college basketball. So you have like teams that'll pick up somebody like that with the full intent they know they're going to leave the next year. You know. So there is no team building around that.
So the other thing I think that they should do, I think they should be allowed to play professionally, and I also think that if they play professionally and are unsuccessful, they should have the opportunity to go back to amateurism and play in the NCAAs.
Yeah, they give up their eligibility when they go pro, right?
Yeah, they're right. At this point, they do, but I think that could be altered. You know, I think they could change that. So, under my plan,
I just have a hard time thinking that I would be okay with letting a 16-year-old roll around with these 20-something, 30-something-year-old men, and you know, what is that fucking movie with Al Pacino where he's a coach of a football team? of the
Oh
NFL
shit.
football team. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Like,
I
so
do
I'm gonna
because
take
Jamie Foxx and Dennis Quaid are in it.
So I'm gonna take my 16-year-old kid and let him be introduced to, the ideology of that kind of thing. I don't fucking think so. You know.
You don't think that kid's already part of that by the time with AAU ball and all the other stuff they're doing right now? You don't think they're already in that? Coaches are being paid by Nike and paid by these scouts and all these other people. It's a corrupt system that benefits everybody but the kid who's playing.
I don't think that they're like the access to it would be much simpler if they're allowed to play professional ball. You know. I'm all about fine, but wait till they're 18. You know.
Is it Any Given Sunday? Is that the movie?
That's the movie. That's the movie. I'm all about them. If they don't want to play college ball, that's fine. But I think 16 is just a little young. So.
I mean, again, I don't know. And again, how many people would even be good enough to play at 16?
It's true. I don't like the idea of young people disenrolling from school to go play a professional sport that they may or may not succeed in.
Well, I think you could say that they have to be schooled. You know what I mean? Like I said, you can use Hollywood or those kind of things as example. Those kids still go to school. It's just through private tutoring or homeschooling. You know, and with the advent of internet education, and like I know here in South Carolina, you can go to public school out of your own home on the internet. Like all your stuff is set up, you just have to enroll that way versus going to normal public school.
I don't like that idea at all.
So if say you were an athlete who was trying to be a professional athlete, and you know you can go to soccer academies in other countries, and soccer players can become professional when they're that age. European countries allow their athletes to become professional basketball players at that age. I just don't understand why we don't allow it, other than there's a system set up to make significant amounts of money off the blood and sweat of these kids. You know, and I'm all for that system being allowed to do that. I just think that the kids should be able to go out there and take a gamble, and even if they're unsuccessful in their gamble, they should have the opportunity to come back and play amateur ball.
I think I agree with the fact that they should not be eligible to play amateur ball again. If you're going to take the risk, you know, the juice has got to be worth the squeeze to you. So, and that's why I'm a huge proponent of planning for the afterlife of sports, because the shit doesn't last forever. So.
Right.
So yeah, if you're going to take the risk of playing pro ball, if we're going to go down that road, then yeah, I don't think you should be allowed to come back and play amateur.
You don't?
I don't know. I think
Why not?
Okay, that's the risk you took. That's your deal. So
so you had to be penalized for being unsuccessful. So there's no second chances given.
Not in that instance. I don't agree with
Wow,
that, so.
I think that's crazy.
It's just my opinion.
Of course,
again, it's
I'm a guy who's all about the opportunity for change and all those other things. So, but to me, it seems crazy the way the system is set up.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think you should be allowed 4 years of amateurism, which is basically what if you'd have just gone to college and done the NCAA clearinghouse, you would get 4 years, right? Yeah. With potentially a fifth year off a red shirt. I think that should be allowed at any time, at any age, whether you had played professionally or not. If you didn't use all your time, you should be allowed to go do that. You should be allowed to use that time.
I mean, if in that instance, if I didn't play college, if I played college sports, and so if I never played, I only played 2 years, so that would mean in your instance, I could go back and play right now. I could go back and play two more years.
If there was a college that wanted to let you come play, then you could go back and play. Yep.
That's fucking craziness. I don't agree with that.
Why? What's crazy about it?
No, because I had my glory. I had my chance. I should, I think if you.
Why do you only get one chance?
Because you decided to go play in the big leagues. That was your risk. You knew the risk, so.
Again, you took a risk. You failed. Why shouldn't you have another opportunity?
No, you need to move on. Do something else. This is why the whole thing about having education.
Because they say you have to. Fuck them. Fuck they. Let's change that.
No, I think if you go pro, that's it. Like, you know. Because then you could come back at the amateur level and dominate, and like, you know, like
maybe.
I think that gives other people that are trying like a less of an opportunity.
Or iron sharpens iron, and it gives them the chance to get better and to play against somebody who's already experienced another level. And it gives that person who experienced the other level and wasn't successful the opportunity to sharpen their skills and then go back and try again. Because let's be honest, Kobe Bryant wasn't going to go back to college when he was a successful millionaire in the NBA. I'm only talking about the dudes that they try and aren't successful normally.
No.
That's okay. It's cool to think differently.
It is. It's my opinion. I don't know. Maybe after some reflecting on it, I might change my mind. But I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. So, because you know what, I deal with this shit too at work, where I have these people that say you're a GS11 or whatever, and they want to come and work at a GS7 because they're tired of supervising. Fuck you. Like, just because you're I hate that shit because it's a form of laziness. Why? It's a form of laziness is what it is.
Who cares? If they can go be a good ass GS7, let them.
No, usually those are the people that are like statistically in trouble more in the government system. We got a big old
if they go get in trouble and they go lose their job, then they're out of luck and they can reapply for another job. You know, but they should at least have the opportunity to fail, in my opinion. You know, you give them the chance to succeed or fail.
I don't like people going backwards in their career.
I don't know. I don't like people making decisions for other people. So if you're going forward or backwards, I think it should rest with you to decide what you're going to do.
I just hate laziness, and to me that seems like laziness. I'm sure there's special circumstances, but in the general, like it just seems like laziness.
I don't know. I mean, there could be lots of reasons a person does it. I know a guy in a GS10 to be in a GS5 because he wanted to move to the beach.
That's laziness. So.
I don't know. I mean, now he's up to a 7 again.
Like I said,
and he complains all the time. But still.
I don't want to. See, fuck him. He don't need to be complaining. That was his choice. He did that shit. That's your policy. You let him make his own decisions, and now he's bitching about it.
I did.
Fuck him. He needs to shut. He needs to shut his goddamn mouth. And
I think it's his right to complain about it too. Ooh. And then people can just say, "Hey, you made a choice."
Yeah, he needs to shut up and color. So. No. That's right. His bed. Time to sleep in it, buddy. So. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that point. I'm just making a point of another reason somebody might take a lower grade. It could be to relocate to a specific area. You know, could be something's happening within their family. You know, there's lots of reasons people might do something like that.
There's special circumstances, I'm sure, but as a whole.
But again, as an entity, we shouldn't be making decisions for individuals. We should allow individuals, just like we shouldn't punish individuals for other people's decisions, you know.
I think too, this is another thing I think. Like whenever somebody bitches to me about like anything in the government, I ask, did you vote? Nope. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't have a voice in this. Like I don't want to hear. And the only caveat to that is I wasn't old enough to vote when it should happen. So that's the only thing, only excuse I will take on that. You didn't vote, you don't have a fucking voice. You can't say nothing. So
yeah. I'm not a fan of complaining for the sake of complaining, but I am a fan of constructive criticism. So I am a fan of people saying, like, you know, this is fucked and we should be looking to do it a little differently and maybe we should try this. You know?
I think if you're going to complain about something, have a solution. So
yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. That's why I say constructive criticism.
Yeah,
you know, it's cool to complain, but, you know, have some version of how it should be modified.
I agree with that. So I do. So, and that's, you know, like when people come to me and complain about things. I will stop. Do you have a solution to what we're talking about? No. Then, okay, come back to me when you got a solution. I don't want to hear about it. So.
Right. Just keep it moving until we can figure something better out.
So you can come up with a better way for us to do this, or you have, you know, exactly. Have an original fucking thought. Like we say that all the time on this show. Have an original fucking thought. God damn, get me fired up. I feel my blood pressure rising.
That's
man.
right.
Can't be doing that shit to
That's
me.
right. I can hear it in your tone.
Let's talk about something
Remember,
else.
woosah.
Let's talk about something else.
Deep
Disney,
breaths in, out.
Disney and Fox merge, man. How about that $50 billion deal?
I'm trying to figure out how none of these mergers become monopolies.
Well, Disney and Fox become. That's not. I mean, you got Paramount, Sony. You got a lot of other things. So.
Yeah, but isn't part of that monopoly thing like an unfair advantage because of the combination of the two?
We got approved, so it must have not been.
I guess so.
They do a lot. I mean, they do a fuck. These mergers don't just happen. Like this, like, you know, it's been in the works for a long time.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I think the FCC has to approve these mergers as well, or one of those fucking F things has to approve them. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's why the what do you call it? The Verizon Sprint merger. Wasn't there a Verizon Sprint merger? No,
yeah,
T-Mobile and Sprint. The two bottom ones wanted to merge.
Well, they shot down Who was it? AT&T and somebody were trying to go, and they were told they couldn't.
Yeah. So, I think who is it? T-Mobile. I'm gonna have to look this up.
There was a AT&T. Was it AT&T and Comcast that were told they couldn't?
AT&T and DirecTV merged, I think.
Yeah, they did merge. They're partners right now.
The
T-Mobile, but there was was it Time Warner? It was Time Warner.
Yeah, T-Mobile and,
Excuse me.
Sprint are trying to merge right now. Actually, I guess they abandoned the merge talks November 4th. So that would have been a cool merger to see happen. So I think that would have been a merger where you saw, you would have seen your cell phone bill come down in price. So.
Yeah, there's some articles on the web right now about the Disney-Fox deal, and it coming at an uncertain time for antitrust enforcement.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So, the tax cuts. This could be an interesting thing. You know, they help people as long as basically you don't make more than like 50 grand. There's a calculator.
Well, you saw Rubio is not going to vote for it unless they'll change the amount of taxes coming back to people, right?
Right, I saw that. Yep. So if you want to know if this tax cut thing helps or hurts you, there's a calculator out there. Just Google tax cut calculator 2017. I did it today. Yeah, it would negatively affect me. I'd probably lose about I don't know, probably $800 a year. So.
Yeah, I think I'm in the negative calculator too. And I also want to say, anybody who's on the positive side of things, take into account that that's a temporary thing. The only long-term, non-temporary benefit is for the corporations. Right. All the individual benefits at this point are supposed to dry up around, I think it's 2027, and there's talk now of even shrinking that year and making them stop sooner. So while it may look like a good deal for the individual on the front end now, it's actually kind of the short end of the stick if you read the plan and look at kind of like the long term of it, because the corporations will have the permanent benefit unless it's repealed by some future legislators, whereas we, the individual citizens of the country, will have a temporary benefit.
So I did some research today. Permanently, you would have to make, if you want a permanent, like you want this to permanently help you, you need to be married, and between the two spouses, you need to make over $500,000. That's who it really benefits. So, in the long run. In the short run, so I would probably make back all that $800 because I would double up on my tax credit for my kid who I can claim, and so would you. Mm-hmm. So normally, if you do your taxes correctly, for one child you should be getting about $3,500 back a year. It would go up to right around $5,800. So.
Okay.
And there'd
be a minimal short-term benefit.
Right. you know. And it'd be nice to get almost $6,000 back for my kid every year, but, you know, I don't really know if, you know, I'm never going to probably make less money than I'm making right now, so in the long run, it would probably hurt me. So.
Right. Right. Ideally, we'll make more, but we won't make more to the figure that it benefits.
Right.
Unless we get to be super lucky.
And those tax things that they're talking about, it's not like they're going to tax your paycheck. It's certain items in your paycheck that will increase tax-wise.
Right.
So they'll tax you more on the FICA and then Social Security and Medicare. And like as a whole, what they're trying to do is they're like Medicare and Social Security. Like for me and Bo, that money, like if that money that's supposed to be there for our Medicaid and Social Security is literally not there anymore. And I don't think it's been there for about 60 years. It's just non-existent.
Yeah.
So we're basically in the we've been in the business of robbing Peter to pay Paul, or however the fuck it goes. Like that's basically
right.
So how it is.
And that's one of the issues with, you know, having decent paying jobs and employment, because if you make a little more money, then more money goes back into the system. If we have a lot of jobs that are high end where they don't pay all the taxes because they're able to avoid certain things, and that are low end where they don't pay very many taxes because they don't make very much money,
right,
then there's not a lot of money that's being fed into it. And the middle class has been consistently shrinking, so there's been less and less money feeding into it.
Well, I think the middle class is shrinking because of the lack of middle class jobs, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Yeah, there's just not enough jobs that are paying like an adequate amount of money, and that impacts excuse me, that impacts what's going into Social Security.
Right, I agree.
So, and then with baby boomers now retiring out, they're going to be significantly pulling out of the system, and all those positions won't necessarily be filled with people who make the same kind of income as the retiring baby boomers.
No.
So that money won't be replenished at the same rate.
So you can, there's like, I love the fucking statistics, and like we talk about that, and that like, so there's these calculators you can get on, and I think I've talked about this before. So you can take like, I've had this argument recently with people that are older than me, probably like more like my parents' age, where they're like, you know, why are you bitching about you want to make more money? You know, so say you are a 25-year-old college graduate and you're an electrician, like you're a certified electrician, you've got a 4-year degree in electrical engineering. The starting pay for an electrical engineer right now in 2017 for a college graduate, it's like right around $37,000 a year. So go back to when your dad was a graduate from college and he was an electrical engineer. His starting pay was right around $35,000. So
almost the same thing.
Right. But so you have to account for like you can use these calculators. It's crazy. So a cost of a car when your dad was a college graduate, a brand new car was right around $12,000. A brand new car for you today, the average is $64,000. You know, so
that sounds like a high average. But I would say a low average would be like in the like, let's just talk about, because we'll take the average out and we'll take the low mean. So let's say the average car is like $28,000, a brand new car.
That's fine.
Because that sounds more reasonable to me. But that's still, you make $2,000 more annually, but the car costs $28 versus $12.
Right. So the cost of like the attrition, you know, like the cost of living has not kept up. Yeah. You know.
And what about the purchase of a new home?
Oh, astronaut! Like in 1963. So that would have been when your dad like was a college graduate. In 1963 to 67, the average home price. So this is the average. Average home price in the U.S. was $58,000. You know. That $35,000 is sounding a whole lot better to a $58,000 a year, you know. So now the average price of a home is well over $100,000, you know, and you're still making $38,000, and you have a fucking degree, you know, like goddamn. So it's just, you know, those are the things that fuels these people that are like young. All right, Stacy got us back on. All right, so we're back. Okay. So sorry if there was a delay. We got cut off for a second there, guys. All right, so we were talking about the cost of living versus, you know, you being a college graduate now versus your baby boomer parents. So yeah, I think there's a significant difference in that. So I think that the cost of like the salary jobs or even jobs in general has just not kept up with the cost of living. I think that's across the board, you know.
Oh, certainly.
And so like and these corporations, how they've like kept this like to bed, this issue, they've kept it like to bed, was they're like, so okay, you want us to pay our people $15 an hour to work at McDonald's? Cool. Value meal now is $15, you know. So, and that's and you can like find me something that says they didn't say that, because I know they have. Like I challenge you. Like it just, that's what they fucking said. So anyways.
It's crazy, and the reality is they probably wouldn't do that, because then people wouldn't go eat it.
Oh, like, if it costs, it already cost. Like I remember when like we used to go to McDonald's and Wendy's as kids. Like my parents would take. Now, granted, we had a big family, but like we couldn't afford to go to Applebee's and like Chili's and places like that every fucking every week. So we would go. Oh yeah,
we went to Hardee's.
Yeah, like we would go. Like I remember for a fact that 5 kids plus 2 adults, I could eat my heart out for $20. Like for everybody.
Oh yeah.
If I take me and somebody else to go to Wendy's or like I might be hard pressed to eat for $20 between the two of us. You know what I'm saying?
So my daughter's 8. So if my wife, myself, and my wife and I get value meals and my daughter gets a Happy Meal, we spend right around $20 at McDonald's.
Right. So it's just so. I mean, and you're older than me, so I know you remember those days of like,
Oh yeah. Well, it used to be able to go to Burger King and you could get a hamburger for $1 and a cheeseburger for 35 cents.
Right. I remember. I remember that shit vividly.
So we would actually stop at Burger King. Like this was when they had a drive-in in Leavenworth, Kansas, where my dad was stationed at the time. We used to stop and get a huge bag of cheeseburgers and a huge bag of hamburgers, and we'd go to the drive-in. And at that time, the drive-in movie was like $2 for a carload to get in, or something ridiculously cheap.
Yeah.
And so, like and we were a family of 5, so a family of 5 could eat all the hamburgers and cheeseburgers till their heart was content, and see a new movie at the drive-in for under $10.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I'm only talking about the early 1980s. I know that wasn't recently, but it wasn't that long ago either.
Well, I remember like when my mom was pregnant with one of my brothers and sisters. I remember she craved Taco Bell, and I remember being able to go to Taco Bell, and we would be able to get like a soft taco or a hard taco. One of them was 10 cents more than the other. But it was only it was less than 60 cents for each taco. I remember that shit. Like, I remember thinking,
yeah, sure.
Fuck, my allowance could buy a shitload of tacos. Like, I remember that. And I was little. So.
Right.
And then you can't, like, fuck. You can't, you know what? Like, nowadays, like, if my kid wants to go out to eat, or if somebody I know wants to go out to eat, I'll just tell them pick wherever. Because it's about the same no matter where we're going to go.
We stopped going to fast food places and just go to restaurants, because you're spending about $25 or $30 in a restaurant and spending $20 in fast food. And which food's going to be better?
Right.
And so you pay $5 to $10 more for significantly better food typically.
Literally, the only time I go to fast food now is if it's convenient. Like I need to go here to here, and I really don't want to spend a bunch of time. So that's like literally the only reason. So. Other than that,
sometimes I'm just really in the mood for it, though, man. Like sometimes I just go get fast food because I feel like eating some unhealthy ass fast food.
I hear you. So, yeah, and so the last 2 months I've been on a keto diet, which is no carbs and no sugar. And man, oh man, it's fucking amazing how many carbs and sugars and shit you wouldn't think it would be. So like I like Gatorade. I love Gatorade. I drink it all the time. And I've had to stop drinking, like, the regular, like, Gatorade because the bitches have... I got one right here in front of me. 36 carbs in a 20-ounce thing of Gatorade.
Oh, wow.
And 34 grams of sugar, So, and on this keto diet, like, I think I'm allowed 18 carbs a day is what I'm allowed. And okay. So, like, that's twice. Like, if I can drink half a thing of Gatorade and blow all my carbs away. Like, imagine how many carbs is in fast food and shit like that.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine.
Fuck. So, yeah, but whatever, yeah. I've lost a lot of weight on it. It's been a good diet, so.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I've been on it 2 months, and I've basically lost 40 pounds. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I probably will never go back to... So, like, Joe Rogan is the reason that I'm on this thing. He cut out wheat completely in his life. He's just done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because it's because not that wheat is bad. It's the wheat that we have now is fucking terrible for you. The way it's been genetically modified, and we could go into that for hours. But sugar, they have like come to find out, like, well, it's not like scientifically proven, but the scientific community as a whole agrees that sugar feeds cancerous cells. Like sugar is literally like what cancer survives on. So if you cut sugar out or cut it down, you know, then your chances of like having cancer or having like or cancer going away in your body is significantly different. So
what I'm hearing is I'm highly likely to end up with cancer.
Do you eat a lot of sugar?
Probably more than not.
It's amazing, like what you wouldn't think there should be sugar in. There's shitloads of it in. So I like refried beans from a certain company that I will not name because I'm not getting any money from them. But in their refried beans, I like to eat them with my tacos if I make them at home. There's like 90 grams of sugar per serving in that refried beans can. And there's 10 servings in it. Fuck, you know?
And you probably crush a whole can when you eat it, right?
Oh, fuck yes, you know I do. You know I'm eating 3 or 4 like I'm eating all 10 servings
That's
of that.
what I'm saying.
You know, like...
I even like to just dip my chips in refried beans.
For sure. I'm the same way. I love that shit. So, and and I had a brain tumor. I had that shit treated by a FDA approved method of doing it, and it's gone. But I really don't want to, like, if I can do something to prevent anything like that coming back, I'm good with it. You know, and that's not to say that I won't eat sugar, but I'm not going to eat it like, if I can watch what I'm eating, lose 40 pounds in 2 months and feel better, I'm going to do it. So.
No, I think that's good if you can do it.
So if you
tried to move more towards a plant-based diet, but I find myself still eating stuff that's not plant-based.
So, like on this keto thing, it's great. Like you can eat bacon, you can eat sausage, you can eat all that shit. You can eat all the cheese you want. It's basically no bread and no sugars. Like that's all it is. So.
Oh man, I like bread, dude.
They encourage cheat days, so I have I had a cheat day the other day, and I had a thin crust pizza. That's what I ate. It was.
There you go.
I'm not a
I had buffalo chicken pizza yesterday.
That sounds fucking fantastic.
It was delicious.
You know, and I like buffalo chicken, so I've had to come up with creative ways to eat buffalo chicken without the carbs. So, and really, the best way to do it is if you broil it and put the buffalo sauce
and then put the sauce on it,
the butter on it. Low, like while it's in the oven, it crinkles up and tastes almost like buffalo chicken. So, but whatever, I'd rather live for 50 more years than die in 20 because I wanted to eat buffalo wild wings.
I think that's a nice big picture outlook.
So, there's lots of benefits to the keto diet. You got to be careful if you're going to start it. This is not me promoting it. You need to speak with your doctor before starting any diet. You can get the keto flu. So what you're doing, you're like putting your body in what's in the ketosis state. So your body, normal people, everyday people, your body uses carbs as energy. So when you take all that out of the equation, your body will now burn fat for energy. And if you don't do it in the correct way, you can get what's called the keto flu. Like, it's the equivalent of having the regular flu, and it's fucking terrible. So I did not get it when
like it's good.
When I did not get it because I did exactly what they say to do. You need to drink water is another key thing. You have to drink your weight in water every day, it sounds crazy, but it's really not that hard. Like me, it's I drink 10 of these 20-ounce water bottles every day. So
right.
which you should be doing anyways. That's not something abnormal for normal. Everybody should do that shit. So you should drink more water. So, yeah, and you know what? The crazy thing about it is when you eat those like good fats like avocados and like red meat and stuff like that, sour cream, it fills you up. And so I've noticed now that I don't like. If I eat, and I'm on what's called a fasting keto diet, so I don't eat for like 11 hours, and then I'll eat a meal. And then I'll not eat for 11 hours, and then I eat a meal.
Okay.
I find myself I'm not hungry at all if I eat a good meal that's full of those like good fats. Like if I like smother something in avocado, like and onions and peppers and shit, I'm not hungry. And
that sounds delicious.
That's what you're looking for. So like for dinner last night, I took 2 steaks and grinded them up and basically made them into like hamburger patty styles. And I had those. I baked them in the oven for like, I don't know, like 8 minutes. They were like medium rare. And then I put mozzarella cheese on them, avocado, sour cream, and jalapenos, and ate that shit. It was fucking fantastic. And onions. I had onions on it. So that was great. Sounds
pretty tasty.
I mean, so you can eat whatever the fuck you want. You just got to watch the carbs and the sugar. The sugar is the big one. So.
Okay.
Anyways, enough about that bullshit.
I do like sugar, though.
And it's not for everybody. Like I said, this is not me encouraging you to go do the keto diet. Consult with your doctor or your physician before you start any diet. I want to talk about something that happened to our channel today. So we got notified that we're actually not supposed to be having the Slightly Nocturnal show live on YouTube anymore. And basically, they can kind of kiss my ass about that. So I haven't really got a good reason. The only reason I can like come up with that through the language that Google has sent us is that somebody filed like more than 20 complaints against our show.
Oh wow!
And the show, they said that, like basically that we have fake news, or we're like stretching the truth in layman's terms. So if you think that we're doing that at all, I want you to put it in the comments or send us an email saying like how you think we're doing that or what we're doing wrong. I would highly encourage everyone to keep supporting the show. If you like it, tell your friends. We're doing great on the downloads on the Google Play Store and other places like the Apple iTunes Store and shit like that. So we hit 7,000 this past week, which is like fucking great. Nice. I really appreciate it. That's like, I have no idea how much that like means to me and Bo. So that's really good shit.
That's right. So yeah, that's incredible.
We are going to go to PodCon next year. I don't know all the details about it, but we'll be there. So
yeah, so come
which is an odd thing. So the people that don't want us to have the show are paying for us to go to PodCon. So we'll see how all that pans out.
Yeah, that is peculiar.
So I really think it's like strikes against our. I think it's somebody filing strikes against us. I don't think it's, and I think it's probably strikes against our YouTube channel, and then it's an automated thing that is built into YouTube. So I don't want anybody to think that we're not going to do our show or anything like that. You know, if we fucking won't let us be on YouTube, we'll find another platform to be on. Believe me, we'll be there in a heartbeat. So. Don't forget.
So important information in regards to that is make sure you're following us on Twitter.
Right. Yeah. Make sure catch us on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook. We're on all that social media shit. Stacy's taking real good care of us over there. Next week on Wednesday, don't forget we have our combination gaming / SNS Christmas party show, giving away a shitload of stuff. Watch for Twitter this weekend too. Star Wars comes out, and Stacy's going to give away. She's going to pay for somebody to go see the movie. So we're going to give away tickets.
Oh, awesome!
Whatever show, like whatever theaters, wherever near you.
I fully intend to see that this weekend.
Oh so yes, I'm going to be there.
I'll give a non-spoiler critique next week.
Yeah, I'm going to be there on. I think I'm going to try to go tomorrow night. If not, I'm going to go Saturday. But yeah, I'm going. Fuck yeah, I'm going to go, and we'll do. Maybe me and Bo can figure out how to do some kind of short little live blog after he sees it, maybe on Saturday afternoon or something.
Yeah, there we go. We might be able to do something like that, most definitely.
Yeah, 15-minute, 20-minute, maybe less than that, just a little critique of what we thought. whether you should, save your money and wait for it to come out or go and see that shit right away. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard it's great. I've heard it's fucking shit. So I'm going to go make my own opinion of it. I can't fucking wait to see it personally. So,
yeah, I can't either.
I'm a fucking huge Star Wars nut. So.
As am I. I still got the Darth Vader head. and when Phantom Menace came out, I literally bought all the toys and kept them boxed. Because I was like, one day I'm going to be rich.
I'm rich, bitch. So, and I can't break the thing. Since the original Star Wars movies came back out in the theaters when they did the remastered versions, I've seen them all now in theaters. So I can't stop now. I gotta finish it out. So I'm super jealous of people that are way older than me that have seen the originals that came out in '77 or something like that in theaters.
So I started I saw Empire Strikes Back and I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater, but I'm too young to have got to see Star Wars. I didn't get to see it.
The New Hope, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only one that I never saw in the theater. But I saw it in the theater, just not the original. I saw the Redux edition that they did. Yeah. In 1996 or 97, whenever that came out.
Yeah. So I've seen all of them in theaters. I was not I'm not old enough to see them on the original bandwagon. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm gonna see that. Don't forget about the party next week. It's on Wednesday night. I'm taking the whole fucking day off work to get ready for it, so
nice.
Should be a good show.
I'm not doing that, but I'll be ready.
We're trying to get Thor on the bandwagon of being on the show on a more regular basis. I think it's important to have a non-American voice on, especially some of the topics that we talk about. And people have expressed that. They've emailed us and they've told us on Twitter how much they enjoyed when Thor was on the show before. So, and then Stacy has encouraged me to say that we are looking for a female co-host, and I agree. We're looking for one. So if you're a female and you're interested in what we talk about, email Stacy at killcobrastudios@gmail.com. She put a big post about it on Twitter today. So if that's something you're interested in, we're looking for somebody, and we'd love to have you aboard. So we're taking...
That's right. We don't bite unless you ask Doc.
We're taking, I guess we're taking applications. Or you don't need a resume. You just need to email Stacy, and she'll get you all the details. So, and I just want to take this time to personally thank Stacy for everything that she does for us. Well, I don't know if she's listening or not. So
I second that.
She's been a big help to all of us. She must be.
In fact, sometimes she should come on the show and talk about what a pain in the ass it is to do stuff for us.
She should, but she never wants to talk. She's emailing. She just messaged me right now. She said that remind everybody that we're not having anything the week of Christmas. Stacy and her infinite wisdom has given everybody the week off. So, so the 24th through the 30th, we will not have anything on our YouTube. So it's nice to have some time off. So
that's right. And if you miss us, catch up on old shows.
That's right. I am going to Peru the week of Christmas anyways, so I'll be gone anyways.
Nice.
So, yes.
And what do you plan on doing in Peru?
I'm going to do ayahuasca and go to Machu Picchu.
I thought you might do that. So you'll have a lot to tell us when you come back from Peru.
Maybe not. Maybe I'll be a completely different person and don't want nothing to do with this show anymore.
Oh, that could be. That could be.
It could
the world would weep if that occurred.
I kind of like it's my one fear of going and doing this shit is that I know people that have done it before. Hey, what's up, Lens? And they're like completely different now. So, they're like, I've known people that have done it that are like super introverted and they come back very extroverted, and the opposite. They're very extroverted persons and they come back and, the one person I know that was very extroverted is now a monk. So he found God in ayahuasca. So
nice.
Yeah, literally sold all his worldly possessions and took a vow. He took a vow of silence for a year. And then yeah. I don't plan on finding fucking the Catholic Church while I do ayahuasca, since I've already been a part of that bullshit. But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. So, anyways, all right, that's enough. We're well over an hour. I appreciate you hanging around, Bo, being patient with us.
Yep, as do I.
So I had a good time. I can't wait for next week for the party. It's going to be an extended SNS and stream. Should be a lot of fun. Got any parting words? Anything else you want to say?
No. Appreciate y'all joining. Keep downloading the show. That's awesome. Sounds like we're gonna be at PodCon. Come check us out.
Yep.
And anybody who's interested in perhaps being on the show or female co-hosting, then get at us and shoot Stacy your information.
That's right. Let us know. All right, guys.
And like Doc said, if there's stuff you think that we're doing wrong, let us know so we can do that shit right.
That's right. I don't want to get no more emails from YouTube saying they're going to shut us down. I'm fucking over it. So, all right. So remember to think for your motherfucking self and question everything, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. Take it easy out there.